Well, it looks nice outside, but as we mentioned just moments ago, there is rain in the forecast, so they have closed the roof here at Rogers Center. Kind of unfortunate because it's a lovely day right now. Well, the Blue Jays have taken the field. Let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup, which is presented, as always, by our good friends at Rico. Johnny Damon gets a day off from the turf. He'll DH and lead off. The captain and the shortstop, Derek Jeter, bat second. Jason Giambi, a pinch-hitting hero last night, will play first base today and hit third. Cleaning up, trying to bounce back from that 4-strikeout game, third baseman Alex Rodriguez. Jorge Posada will catch. He's going to bat fifth since the All-Star break, a .333 hitter, 2 ribbies and 4 runs scored. Bernie Williams with a home run in yesterday's game. He'll be in right field batting sixth. Number 7 hitter, left fielder Melky Cabrera. Nick Green moves from third yesterday to second today. Cairo the day off. And Bubba Crosby is in center field batting ninth.
You're looking at Sean Markham, who started the year in the minor leagues. This will be his 9th game. He hasn't had a win or a loss this year. His ERA just below 5. But as you look at the numbers, 12 walks in 14 2/3 innings shows he can be wild. But 16 strikeouts can also strike people out. Let's take a look at the Land Rover pitcher scouting report. This will be his 2nd major league start. And you watch him from the windup in particular. He's got a short arm delivery. He almost throws it like a catcher would. And he's got a pretty good curveball. So the Yankees with their first look at Sean Markham.
So we're ready for baseball here at Rogers Center, and Johnny Damon will dig in. After the game, the Yankees will head to Texas and begin a 3-game set tomorrow. And the pitch from Markham is outside 1-0, and we are underway. Home plate umpire is Ronald Kulpa. Again, he misses outside 2-0.
A lot of arm action with Markham just before the delivery. Kind of snaps his arm back into throwing position. Right arm comes around. There it is right there. And he
Yankees baseball is presented in high definition where available. It's brought to you by Sony Bravia. And the 2-1. And there's a base hit to start off the game by Johnny Damon. Serves it into left center, and he is a threat to run.
That is Johnny's 4th hit of the series. He's now 4 for 12, and Michael was talking about his ability to run. And congratulations to Johnny Damon. Yesterday picked up career stolen base 300, sinking fastball. And Johnny said, I can handle this. Base hit in the center field.
Certainly not a rare occurrence. You saw Johnny Damon there with a smile. Seems like he enjoys every day. And here's Derek Jeter. And a bunt right back to Markham. Thought about second, takes it at first. Yankees playing for an early run. The sacrifice successful, 1-3.
Let's check out the rest of the Blue Jays defensively. Catalanato's in left field, Wells in center, Johnson in right. He has started all 3 outfield positions. That's Reed Johnson. This will be a 16th start in right field. Gloss, McDonald, Hill, and Overbay in the infield. And the veteran Greg Zahn behind the plate for Sean Markham.
Here's Jason Giambi. Pinch hit in the 7th inning yesterday and doubled inside first for a big RBI that tied the game at 4. Pitch outside, 1-0.
You know, it's interesting now with Giambi at the plate and A-Rod with his struggles. You know, Giambi walks a lot to begin with. You know, teams feel that Giambi is the one they want to pass around now at this point in the season and move on to A-Rod. You might see Giambi getting some, you know, obvious base on balls. And that pitch looked like a changeup in first strike.
Yes.
Or he's going to get a steady diet of off-speed pitches. The one hitter affects the next one in the lineup, and so on and so forth.
We told you that Ronald Culpa is behind the plate. First base umpire is Dan Iasonia. Lance Barksdale at second, and the veteran crew chief Dale Scott is over at third. Damon's at second, nobody out. Just underway. Yankees and the Blue Jays. We thank you for joining us on this Sunday afternoon. Another off-speed pitch for a strike. 2-2.
Blue Jays likes, there's a big curveball that Kenny was talking about. He's good, slow hook, 91-mile-an-hour fastball with late movement. He was a starter in the minor leagues. He was third-round pick by the Blue Jays in 2003. He's done very well in the minor leagues. Early in the year, he was pitching out of the bullpen, did not pitch effectively. He was wild.
The 2-2. Wild there, and the count 3-2.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about, that one hitter affects the next. And with the base open, I can almost guarantee they're not going to lay a fastball in there for Jason Giambi to swing at. He might have to hit a changeup or a breaking ball to get a hit. If they're going to try and get him out, I believe it's going to be one of those two pitches that he's going to have to swing at.
3-2. High fly ball center field. Vernon Wells. 2 outs.
Now let's see what they threw to it, Al. And let's see. There's a look at sinker for a ball, change up for a strike, high fastball inside, curveball for a strike, fastball away for a ball, and a curveball for a strike. So all the fastballs were off the plate. They were trying to go after him with the breaking ball. If you're Jason Giambi, it shouldn't take you long to figure this out. And I thought he had a good swing at that 3-2 breaking ball. And that's I felt that when you're hitting, you got to be up there thinking along with the pitcher, the situations, what the guy's doing behind you.
Here's A-Rod, 4 for his last 23. He's down to 280. Hit sharply to third. Fielded there by Gloss. And they get him for the final out of the inning. So A-Rod hit the ball hard, but right at Troy Gloss. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. Yankees nothing. Blue Jays coming to bat. Well, the Yankees have taken the field. Sidney Ponson is taking his warm-ups, and we're going to take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup, which is presented by Rico. Reed Johnson's in right field leading off. Frank Catalanato in left will bat second. Vernon Wells, the center fielder, carries a 9-game hitting streak into this contest, hitting .368 during that time, and he's batting third. Troy Gloss, the third baseman, will clean up, batting fifth and playing first. Lyle Overbay, then you've got Greg Zaum catching, Eric Hinsky DHing, Aaron Hill at second base, and John McDonald bats ninth, and he plays shortstop.
Sidney Ponson making his second start for the Yankees, and this is with St. Louis and the Yankees this year. His record's 4-4. His career record against the Blue Jays is 7-9, but he's pitched very well here at the Rogers Center. Here's our Land Rover pitcher scouting board. That's his record here, 4-2. He's got a fastball, slider, cutter, changeup. Speaks 4 languages.
I can barely master one. Pitch to Reed Johnson's outside, 1-0.
English, Spanish, Dutch, and Papiamento, which is the local language of Aruba. That's the native language of that island and just north of Venezuela. And if you ask me a word in Papiamento, I couldn't tell you one.
Papiamento would be one.
That's one.
Reed Johnson leads the Jays with a .432 on-base percentage. 0 for his last 7, though, against the Yanks. And that one is driven out to right field. Bernie Williams on the run. He can't get there. And it bounces up against the wall. Reed Johnson starts off the inning with a double.
Well, the Yankees had actually held Reed Johnson down pretty well in this series. He was only 2 for 14, but he gets a fastball towards the outer third of the plate about belt high or a little lower. And he will drive this to the gap. Reed Johnson's having a good year. He's really been a catalyst in that leadoff spot for the Blue Jays, and Bernie Williams almost got to it. I think Bernie Williams 5 years ago would have caught that if he was playing right field, but he'd been in center. That would have been a heck of a play from center field.
Here's Frank Catalanato. And there's a strike. Catalanato right behind Reed Johnson in on-base percentage. In fact, the top 3 hitters for the Blue Jays is their right fielder, left fielder, and their center field. And the Blue Jay outfielders combined this year 328, 56 home runs, and 199 RBIs. And that's tops in the major leagues for RBIs and home runs, and #1 in the American League in batting average. Not too bad. So they're getting production out of the top 3 in their order. And there's Vernon Wells, who will be next.
And that includes Alex Rios, who's on the disabled list, and who had made the All-Star team, and will be back fairly soon for these Blue Jays. In fact, Alex was on the field today running from home to first. He's going out on a, as I mentioned yesterday, going out on a rehab assignment to Syracuse, but he's only going to DH for the games that he's playing at AAA.
One-two. He struck him out. Nice piece of pitching there by Ponson. Catalanato does not get the runner over.
And he doesn't swing and miss very often. In fact, I think this is his first swing and miss in this series. First time he's totally missed the ball. It looked like a good changeup or a splitter from Ponson that got him.
Here's Vernon Wells. Vernon has a 9-game hitting streak, as we told you, giving you the lineups. 317, 24 homers, 74 runs batted in, an American League All-Star this year. Driven deep to center field. Going back, Bubba Crosby. Looking up. See ya. A long home run for Vernon Wells. And the Blue Jays lead 2-0.
He got a first pitch breaking ball all series. Vernon Wells is a first ball hitter. Normally those are fastball hitters. 36% of the time he likes to swing. League average is about 28% of the time. He's been getting a lot of first pitch breaking balls because of that.
That hit the facing of the restaurant in center field. Here's Gloss. And there's a strike. 25th home run of the year. Now 76 ribbies, and Ponson continues his first inning struggles. Count 0-2.
Well, Bubba Crosby going back, but it's a futile chase.
And he overpowers Gloss for the second out of the first.
Looked like a splitter that puts Gloss away, and so the two outs for Ponson are on strikeouts. The 2-run homer was on a high breaking ball, and not only did Al point out that Vernon Wells is a first pitch hitter, but that was a hanging hook up in his eyes, and he's a good high ball hitter.
Here's Overbay. And the pitch outside, 1-0. And the count levels at 1-1. Overbay, 4 for his last 9. And the count now 2-1. They measured Vernon Wells' home run at 423 feet. Count 2-2. Yankees baseball is broadcast in Spanish. It's available by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Toyota. Smart way to keep moving forward. Strike 3. Overbay down looking. Sidney Ponson strikes out the side, but the Blue Jays with 2 runs on 2 hits. The big blow, this 2-run home run to dead center by Vernon Wells up against the restaurant. Something for the Blue Jays to dine on. Hey, let's take a look at the JR Music and Computer World upcoming schedule. Yankees go to Texas after the game. 3 games against the Rangers. Tomorrow on Yes at 7 o'clock. Pregame 6:30. Tuesday on My 9 at 8 o'clock. And Wednesday back on Yes at 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock is the BP show. Pregame shows at 7:30. First pitch right around 8:05. Get a chance to see that fine shortstop for the Texas Rangers, Michael Young. Well, the Yankees are down 2-0 as we head to the second. Here's Jorge Posada. And the pitch outside, 1-0 from Markham. It'll be Posada, Williams, and Cabrera. Grounded to second. Aaron Hill. 2 Overbay, 1 away.
Jorge Posada did a fine job in yesterday's ball game. I thought that he called a great game. You know, that in particular the one at bat with Troy Gloss at the plate with Calinado at second representing the tying run late in the ball game, and Proctor struck him out looking. If you remember, Posada went out and talked to Proctor. Now he thought that Calinado might be relaying location on pitches to the hitter. So what he did was he went after and said, this is going to be our sequence of pitchers. What you're going to throw over the next 3 pitches. And whatever signs I put down are going to be totally irrelevant. This is what we're going to do on these next 3 pitches. So Calinado, you know, might be given location, but it's the wrong location. And they had them all set up, and Proctor just threw those 3 pitches, and they struck out Troy Gloss looking. So in other words, you know, they're aware that the runners are on second, and it's not necessarily about signs. It could be about location. You know that. So he took care of that with one little discussion, which I thought was a kind of a brilliant piece of strategy.
Count 0-2 on Bernie Williams. Bernie 7 for his last 22. Just missed. Did he go? No, said Dale Scott at third.
Just a little low outside.
Try to backdoor that slider. Well, the best thing about what you were just saying with Proctor and Posada is that if they are stealing signs or getting location, another curveball away, now Catalano can go in and say, forget what we think was what we thought was.
It's not working.
It's not. So that, you know, it kind of messes the plan.
Two. Fastball just missed in the count, 3-2.
Yeah, Catalano's a veteran. You know, Gloss is a veteran at the plate. So, you know, they have their little secret ways of communicating from second base. He was on at second with a double. But, you know, that was some great pitching out of the bullpen. But it was also a great call by Posada with Proctor on the mound.
3-2. Skied to left field and deep. Going back, Catalano on the track. He'll make the play. 2 away.
And I just thought of something. And if you recall, the third strike was a called third strike. Now, if Calinado's given location, it's the wrong location, and all of a sudden Gloss takes a fastball for a called third strike, totally fooled. Not going to trust Calinado anymore.
Count 0-1 to Melky Cabrera. Melky 3 for 10 in the first 3 games of the series. Count 1-1. Just missed that one, fouled it back, 1-2.
Markham has a little funky arm action. That can throw hitters off, can it?
Absolutely. And mostly, you know, anytime a hitter hasn't seen a guy, it takes a couple of bats.
Right back up the middle. It didn't throw Melky off as he picks up a base hit. Makes a big turn. And a 2-out single for Melky Cabrera.
You know, when you go into any series, you go over the scout report, and obviously Don Mattingly going over the hitters what Markham has. And they'll say he's got a sinker, slider, there's a backdoor curveball, throws 3/4, got a little movement. But, you know, it's all words until you actually get in the box and see the movement, see the arm angle, see the funky delivery if there's one. That's why they're always an advantage to a pitcher if he hasn't faced a hitter, or in this case, the whole Yankee lineup.
Melky's now hitting 11 out of his last 12 games. He's a threat to steal.
Nick Green swings and misses. In yesterday's game, Nick Green in the 5th inning had one of the weirdest swings that you'll ever see to strike out. And really, it looked like the kid that had to play one of the innings in Little League, and he was up at the plate, and it was just a weak hack, and the team was joking with Nick about it, and he was in pretty good humor about it as well because the team won. But he said it was a 3-2 pitch. He goes, and I never thought that they would throw me a fastball. I thought they'd throw me a breaking ball away. And he said it was just a weak hack, as if when I saw the fastball, I said, uh-oh. The 0-2.
That's another reason not to guess with 2 strikes.
Right. He was actually guessing breaking ball away, and when it was a fastball inside, he said, I couldn't understand why they'd waste a fastball inside on me. He said, I thought definitely they'd go breaking ball away, and he just wasn't expecting it. Took a weak wave. One-two. That's a better swing as he drives one in the left field for a base hit. So first and second with 2 outs.
Well, there's such a thing as being wild in the zone. You see that. That's a 1-2 count. That is pretty much middle. It's on the corner outer third. But there is something for when you hear pitching coaches say, well, he's wild in the zone. And they want Markham to be aggressive. They want to get ahead, throw strikes. But when a pitcher has the advantage of a 0-2, 1-2 count, that's the opportunity to exploit a hitter's weakness and expand the zone.
Here's Bubba Crosby. And there's a strike.
You know, both on Melky, it was a 1-2 curveball, pretty much middle, outer half. And there you saw Nick Green, good swing on a fastball that was belt high.
Breaking ball away in the count 0-2.
So it looked like a nasty split. Guys hold their changeups all different ways, but it's still a changeup. Out of the hand, it looks like a fastball, and you saw that ball just dip down and away, almost like a curveball.
Missed outside, the count 1-2.
Anytime a lineup could get the pitcher to use his whole arsenal this early, which he has. He's thrown all his curveballs, his sliders, changeups. It's only the second inning. He's 31 pitches into it. That's a struggle for the pitcher.
1-2. Fouled off.
Plus, you don't feel good about yourself because you realize you have to bring the whole kitchen sink, so to speak, early in the game. Most of the time, it's, you know, fastball, get to a breaking ball, and get out of the innings.
Yeah, that's why the first time up, when you're facing a pitcher for the first time, I like to run the count deep unless he really makes a mistake, and you just got to hit it. You know, just try and get as far and as deep into the count. Try and look and see how that fastball moves. See what the breaking ball is like. If he has a changeup.
1-2. Just missed. 2-2.
After all those change-ups away, tried to sneak a fastball to the inside corner. It was obviously a little inside, so the count is leveled off on Bubba Crosby.
See if he doubles up in. Many times after all those slow pitches that Kenny just said he was throwing, you'll see a pitcher stand the guy up but then go back outside. Very effective is to double up inside, especially if you've shown a hitter that you're throwing soft, which he was throwing soft to Bubba the entire bat.
Got him on a breaking ball, diving down and in. Big strikeout for Sean Markham. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the second, 2-0 Toronto. Hey, today after the postgame on Yes, don't miss an all-new episode of Kids on Deck presented by Lincoln Mercury with host David Justice. This week, Mariano Rivera shows Michelle Beadle his pitching secrets. Plus, Donnie Baseball teaches us how to prepare for each at-bat. Catch an all-new episode of Kids on Deck today after the postgame. It's only on Yes. Blue Jays against the Yankees. Canadian flag against the American flag as we move to the bottom of the second inning. And the pitch to Greg Zahn is a strike. 2-0 Jays.
You know, they handed out those flags today, and one side of it's the American flag, the other side's the Canadian flag. And the reason why they did that, it's 2,700,000 Americans will visit the greater Toronto area this year. And it said that 10,000 Americans are actually at the game today. Watching the Yankees and the Blue Jays playing. That's a way of celebrating the friendship between the two nations. And today is Welcome to Toronto Day here at Rogers Center. And they're celebrating their U.S. visitors. And we have those flags right up here. That's very nice of them. They're handing them out on the elevators. I got mine.
And somebody has a bat. I actually believe that bat went right. I thought it went in the garbage can, but it didn't. I guess it went underneath the stands. They can't find it. I think it did go in the garbage can. Let's see. Haven't found it yet. Probably in the belfry. The 2-2.
Inside.
Missed inside in the count, 3-2.
Yep.
The ump with a loud voice. Listen.
Inside.
Gives you direction, not just a ball, but inside. Thank you, Ron. The 3-2. Also inside. A leadoff walk issued by Ponson.
You look at Ponson's stuff, and it is plus. He's got a good breaking ball. You can see the movement on his fastball. He has a tremendous splitter. Fastball, you can get it up there in the mid-90s with a four-seamer. And, you know, over the years, baseball people wonder why this guy doesn't have a winning record. And a lot of it was his off-field problems and demeanor. And he has since straightened himself out and told me before the game today that you know, he was fine with what went on in St. Louis, although after a few bad starts, they told him they wanted him to go to the bullpen. And he said, no, the deal was when I signed that I was going to come to St. Louis as a starter. And he said Tony La Russa was fine. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, was fine. But the deal was that he was going to be a starting pitcher, and he was not going to the bullpen. So they released him.
See that one good season in 2003. There's a strike. One of the knocks against Ponson, in addition to the off-field problems, has been that Ponson just doesn't get in shape. And what the Yankees have been impressed with is that he's been in the weight room every single day and seems really committed to making it work here with the Yankees. He had a lot of opportunities to go to other places, but told his agent, get it done with the Yankees. The 1-1. Foul back. Doesn't it seem odd, though, to see Tino Martinez's number on a pitcher?
Yeah.
Must be odd for Tino, too.
I think he had a selection of numbers, and that was one of the numbers that was offered. And that's the one he took.
It's a good number.
You're darn right.
Willie Mays' number.
Oh, boy, I remember that. Say, hey, kid.
How about a name from the past? When I was growing up, 24 in the Yankees was Otto Velez. Remember that name?
He played for the Blue Jays, too.
He did.
Henderson. Wasn't Ricky 24?
Ricky was 24, too, the Yankees, yep. Strike 3. Hinske down looking. 4 strikeouts for Ponson. Every out he's recorded so far has been via the strikeout.
Another example of the good stuff, Al. Looked like a fastball. That movement comes back over the inside corner. Watch Posada shift. There it is. That time he hit the corner.
That pitch you don't normally get nowadays. That was bell tie that had tremendous movement. You saw that ball come back. Freezes Hinske. It looks like it's coming right at him.
In no uncertain terms, he knew he was out, too, didn't he?
Here's Aaron Hill. And a breaking ball made him flinch just a bit. Inside, though, 1-0.
You know, I know you mentioned the story about Ponson saying that that wasn't part of the deal going to the bullpen. I can't ever remember a player having that much say as to not wanting to pitch in the bullpen.
Well, he obviously didn't have that much say since they released him. Ball gets past Posada.
They brought in Jeff Weaver.
Yep.
Target's low and away, but the pitch is up and in. So Posada had a long way to go to get that one. It goes back to the screen and allows Zahn to move down to second. And I don't know how they scored that.
They scored a pass ball.
Pass ball.
You know, Al, in retrospect, what you're saying, and I would agree. I mean, if they really want him to be in the bullpen, they could just say, you're in the bullpen.
That's what I'm saying. I understand they released him, and maybe that looks like he didn't get his way, but, you know, he's starting for the New York Yankees. You know, normally,
and they're paying a lot of his salary.
The they say, oh, yes, you are. You're going to the bullpen. You know, it's not all talk when you hear players, and I was one of them late in my career last year, coming to the New York Yankees, wearing the pinstripes. You know, you were talking about Sidney Ponson. They're impressed so far with him being in the weight room and getting with Jeff Magel, the strength and conditioning coach, and doing what is necessary to be prepared to execute quality pitches. You know, you got Joe Torre and all those championships and all of the veteran players that have won, future Hall of Famers. It's awfully tough to walk around a clubhouse and be lazy and lethargic.
Again, the ball gets past Posada on the walk to Hill, and Zahn is cruising around the bases, so he's at third.
This might be a wild pitch. We'll check this one. I don't know. That's another one. Look catchable.
That's another pass ball, Kenny.
Yeah. You got to remember what I believe the first time that Ponson pitched, Kelly Stinnett caught him, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the first time with Posada. I didn't work that game when Ponson pitched, but I was watching part of it. I think Kelly Stinnett drew the start that day.
Yeah, he did.
And so this is the first time Posada's actually, you know, getting a feel for the movement of Ponson's pitches.
There's John McDonald pitches outside 1-0.
And it also tells you the pitcher has pretty good stuff. If a catcher can't catch it, you know.
Great late movement, and that's a good point, because anytime I've been to a new team, I've always tried to get the starting catcher to come and, you know, catch me on the side, not only before the game day, but maybe a side day, so that, you know, Jorge can see the nuance of the break and the movement.
safety squeeze is on, and it's a foul ball. So McDonald, who was 2 for his last 27, trying to get something done with the safety squeeze. Zahn waited till the ball was bunted before he took off.
And the ball will eventually roll foul. So from the Yankees standpoint, they have to be on the alert with John McDonald. Now, 1 ball, 1 strike now, and usually you only try that once in an at-bat. And you only try it when the pitcher really has to throw a strike. And the count at the time was 1-0. Now it's 1-1.
Butterfield actually just gave Zahn a verbal sign, whispered into his ear. And what Zahn did very smartly, he waited till Sidney Ponson released the ball, and the ball was almost around home plate before he started to move off third. So he was not going to give it away where the right-hander could see him coming down the line and throw at the batter. Foul back.
Yeah, a safety squeeze and a suicide squeeze are different. For the main reason is that the batter usually gives the sign to the third base runner, knowing that he got the call and knows that that's what he's doing, so he doesn't swing away while the runner at third base is coming charging down.
And he's also letting the coach know that he got the sign too.
Also, a suicide squeeze, the runner takes off from third, and you've got to bunt the ball. A safety squeeze is the ball is bunted, and then the runner takes off from third.
And I think Zahn was kind of in between.
Kind of in between,
He wasn't really just busting right up from when Sidney threw the ball, but it would also didn't look like a safety either.
It was probably right in the middle of both, because he might have been able to get back to third if the ball wasn't bunted. He was kind of loping down third rather than just busting it home. And another strikeout for Sidney Ponson. 5th, 2 away.
Well, we talked about Chin-Meng Wong and all his ground ball outs. Sidney Ponson, all his strikeouts today. That was a splitter that put away John McDonald.
So still first and third now with 2 outs. Here's Reed Johnson. Johnson doubled to right center in the first, and then later scored on Vernon Wells' long home run to center field. Jays lead 2-0. We're in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, prior to the game, talking to Ponson, we were talking about when he first came to the major leagues. His pitching coach was Mike Flanagan, who is now the general manager of the Baltimore Orioles. And when Sidney broke in with Baltimore, he said Flanagan actually taught him how to throw a proper slider.
Again, it gets away from Posada. It's called a strike, and Posada hands the ball to Ponson.
This is either a split. That's a split fastball. Sometimes a guy will spread his fingers so much where they call it a forkball. But that's got some strange spin. It looks like it's going to sink a little bit, and then it drops. Right now, Sidney Ponson showing a lot of movement on all of his pitches.
The 0-1. Bunted down the third baseline. Fair ball. It's going to be a base hit, but they let it roll foul.
No luck for the Blue Jays as far as bunting is concerned in this inning. They tried the squeeze and nothing happened. The ball rolled foul, and then Reed Johnson with a surprise. With Alex Rodriguez back at third, and the ball is going to roll foul. Now, my thought is, you know, everybody's going to know that A-Rod's having his problems fielding. Are more and more teams going to try this sort of thing offensively to try and lay down a bunt, beat it out, make him throw the ball, hustle, throw on the run?
It didn't have to be a special bunt. A-Rod was playing way back. Reed Johnson can run. It's not a bad play.
The 0-2. That time a nice block by Posada.
You know, some people were surprised that Jorge got the call today to a play. In fact, Kim Jones asked Joe Torre about it on the pregame show, and Joe said that Posada's probable next off day is going to come on Wednesday because the Yankees have Thursday off. That will give them effectively 2 days off in a row, and that's when the Yankees will get down to Texas, and that's after 2 days of playing in near 100-degree heat too down in Arlington.
1-2. Grounded to third. Alex Rodriguez will flip to second, and that'll do it here in the second inning. So Ponson with 2 walks works out of trouble. No runs, no hits. The 2 walks and 2 men left. We go to the third, 2-0. Here's a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Online DSL, now at a great low price. Randy Johnson gets a start, his first start after the 129 pitch outing. He'll go up against the Rangers' best Kevin Millwood. Our coverage begins at 6:30 and game time right around 7:05 from Arlington, Texas. Pitch to Johnny Damon is outside, 1-0. Posada and Ponson talking it over between innings, how much the ball is moving. Johnny Damon with a high fly ball to right field, not deep. Reed Johnson, 1 out.
He read Posada's lips, and he put his hands up like he shook his hand in a way that you would show that it looked like a knuckleball, he said, reading his lips.
Hyundai scoreboard, 2-2-0 for the Jays, 0-3-0 for the Yanks. Here's Derek Jeter. In the 4th inning yesterday against Ted Lilly, Jeter had an 11-pitch at bat against Lilly, and he fouled off 5 2-strike pitches. He has now fouled off 90 2-strike pitches this season. And 2 Yankees have actually fouled off more. Jeter with a ground ball base hit up the middle. Johnny Damon has fouled off 114 2-strike pitches. Jason Giambi 113. Now you might say, well, what's high? Well, the major league lead in 2-strike foul balls, the Rockies' Todd Helton at 161, and the Red Sox' Kevin Youkilis at 142. And that's a sign of a hitter that's not afraid to go to 2 strikes.
Youkilis, actually, even though he doesn't have much speed, is the leadoff hitter for the Boston Red Sox.
I know baseball has a lot of stats, but when I saw that one, I said, people are bored, I think.
I think that's pretty cool, though.
To keep stats of that?
Yeah.
There's Giambi.
Yeah, Jeter actually got the bases loaded walk later in the game that won the ball game. And to me, he really put on a tight at bat. You know, understand? It was really like the game's on the line. He was very disciplined and was willing to take the walk because he knew that could mean the ball game, and it did.
Saw Brian Butterfield there directing the infield. Jeter always tries this. You'll see the third baseman Gloss is the guy that would probably cover on the throw to second base. If Jeter would steal, if he doesn't have to slide, he'll just go right directly to third base because there's nobody covering unless the catcher rotates there. Or if there's a ground ball, a slow ground ball to Gloss, and the only players at first, Jeter is going to go to third. So there are a lot of options there with third base uncovered.
Although this is the site of where he hurt his shoulder, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ken Huckabee actually rotated the catcher for the Blue Jays, and Jeter hurt his shoulder going in head first.
So that means Greg Zahn's going to have to cover third, and it means Markham would have to come and cover home. So wasn't it Melky who beat Jason Varitek to home plate a couple of weeks ago?
Yep.
Because nobody was covering home plate.
Tell you, there'll be a big foot race with Overbay and Giambi. He's way back.
.40 pitches for Markham.
Not a particularly good ball strike ratio.
Three infielders on the right side as Overbay holds Jeter. And there's a strike. So the count 3-1. Giambi flied out the center on a 3-2 breaking ball. Now it's 3-1. The fly ball to center was in the first inning. Foul tipped it into the glove of Zahn. 3-2 now. Does Torrey send Jeter with a 3-2 count on Giambi? Giambi does have a propensity to strike out, but Jeter can still second anyway. Tony Pena just had a word with Jeter. Jeter inches off the bag. And he goes. Driven deep to right field. Going back Johnson on the track at the wall. Leaps. It's off the top of the wall and caroms back out into right field. Jeter is at third. He's going to stop right there. And Johnson flips the ball into Hill. It's a double for Giambi, and he missed a home run by virtually an inch.
And for the Blue Jays, it might have been a good thing that Reed Johnson didn't get up to the top of the wall. He might have tipped it over. This is how close it was to going out, as Giambi thought he had a home run. Now he's going to have to hustle to second. There's a swing. Jeter has to hold on. He doesn't know whether Reed Johnson's going to catch this or not. You know, if he's any taller, he gets up higher, maybe knocks it over the wall. He didn't put any leather on it, but the ball hits on the very top and comes back. Here's the leaping effort of Reed Johnson. And there's the ball coming back into play. He did a good job of hustling to get it back in.
Well, the Blue Jays will give up a run on a ground ball. Alex Rodriguez at the plate. Blue Jays play the infield back. Jeter's at third. Giambi is at second.
Outside.
And the pitch is outside, 1-0.
That ball hit directly on the top of the fence on the corner. You can't get the ball any further without it going out of the park. It hit right on the very top.
Outside.
And the count 2-0. The way Rodriguez has been swinging, I'm not sure they would pitch around him. There is first base open. Let's take another look at how close that came. Wow. But Posada is on deck, and he's a double play candidate because he hits the ball hard and doesn't run well.
They've been elevating the fastballs on Alex Rodriguez in this series. They're trying to keep the fastballs up above the belt with something on it.
Goes around on the breaking ball, 2-1.
He's 2 for 13 in the series with 6 strikeouts, but this is an opportunity with 1 out that you know that a ground ball to short or second is going to get at least 1 run in. You try and keep it away from the third baseman. If you hit one towards third, you want it to be to his left. One thing working for him is the runner at third is Derek Jeter, and he's an excellent base runner. He'll make the right decision as to whether he should go or not.
And the count 3-1.
But the way things look, it looks as though they're trying to not give him anything here.
2-0 slider.
Yeah, you know what? I'd look for a breaking ball again, or you can actually get up here and look for a pitch, and even if it's not that, you can take it and it's only strike 2.
Posada waits on deck.
And there was the slider, 3-1.
So even with the A-Rod struggling a bit, they still pitch him like the MVP that he was last year. And
I don't know if that was a strike or not, but
well, when you know Alex is right and when he's locked in or not, there was a 2-0 slider early in this count where he checks swing. When the hitter's locked in, they're taking that pitch. It was a slider off the plate.
He struck him out. 2 away.
With sliders away, and this looks like a changeup that just dips down and in. Good pitch.
And when there's a base open, their pitchers are not going to give in,
especially with 2 outs.
That's his 7th strikeout in this series in 14 at bats.
There's Posada, and there's a strike from Markham. Now 2 outs, runners on second and third. Jeter is at third, Giambi at second. Driven deep to right field, fair ball, it's gone. It is gone. See ya. A 3-run home run for Jorge Posada, and the Yankees lead 3-2.
That was just a matter of fair or foul. After making some good pitches, Alex Rodriguez, this was not such a good one to Jorge Posada. In a third with a fastball. Jorge clocks it down the line. And fair ball. And the Yankees have the lead. One swing of the bat. Look at Jeter trying to make it twist fair. Stay to the left.
There's Bernie Williams. And there's a strike. And just to the left of the foul screen. Count 1-1.
You know, for the first look at Markham, the Yankees have been hitting the ball pretty well. They've got the 3 runs on 6 hits. They've had at least 1 hit in every inning. 3 this inning, 2 last inning, 1 in the first. That's what teammates are all about. You see Alex sitting there. You know he feels bad about striking out with runners in scoring position, a chance to drive in runs. But Posada picked him up with the 3-run homer.
The 2-1. And the count 3-1. So Ponson gets a reprieve from the 2-run home run he gave up to Vernon Wells, now leading the game, and Bernie Williams works a walk.
Here's where you should get a visit from the pitching coach before you know, another one leaves the ballpark. And Brad Arnsberg is going to come out, try and settle down Sean Markham here with 2 outs. This is I like to call it baseball's version of the standing 8 count. You know, when a fighter gets knocked down and the referee's, you know, just seeing if he's okay. This is just to give him a little time to collect his thoughts, and yeah, just you know, hang in there.
That's what teammates have to do. They have to pick up guys that aren't doing their job, and he did it on the field. Now he's doing it in the dugout as well.
Now, these are the times of their lives. I mean, they're in their baseball careers, well into them, but even so, you know, years from now, you know, and I see my former teammates, and we just talk about the good old days and whatever. And right now, we're better ball players now than we were then. But the fact is, this is how you form these bonds. You know, that you know, somebody that you can go to during the course of bad times or good times, and then later on you recall them years from now.
And you usually always had, you know, a couple guys that you always confided in more and be closer with certain guys, and team chemistry is to me very important.
Very important.
Count 2-0. Markham is off the mark. Well, you can just see the vacant look in Alex's eyes. Obviously, he's happy that Posada got the 3-run home run, but his mind is spinning. 4 strikeouts yesterday and a big strikeout here today as well. He's 0 for 2 so far.
You know, I've been through there too, where you're struggling with the bat and you feel like you're never going to get another hit, especially one in a situation where it's really going to help your team. But if there's any solace for him, it's that Posada hit a 3-run home run right after him, and the Yankees have taken the lead. He can look to this, especially if the Yankees win the game. It's going to take away the sting of that at bat because the man right to his right there got the job done.
Count 2-2.
Well, the game is mental, and Michael, you said you just look at those two. Posada talking in a positive way about whatever he was trying to get to A-Rod, but you could see A-Rod's just
straight ahead.
He's, you know, mentally, man, this is a tough game. It's not easy, and even as great as Alex is, when it gets into your coconut, it gets real hard.
2-2.
I think part of the problem with baseball is it's an everyday game, and even though you're supposed to have a short memory, you're playing once again the next day. Now, in other sports like football or basketball, you got a few days to either put it out of your mind and get your thoughts together and go in another situation, in another direction. But baseball is a grind. It is you have to grind it out.
And the guys that can change the page, as Kitty always talks about, are the guys that stay away from prolonged slumps and have good seasons.
3-2. Chop slowly back to the mound. Markham will get Cabrera, and that'll do it. But the Yankees take the lead. 3 runs on 3 hits and 1 man left. The big blow with 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Jorge Posada right down the line inside the fair pole. 3-2 Yankees who head to the bottom of the third. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by the New York State Smokers Quit Line. Call 1-866-NY-QUITS for free help and advice. Start your smoke-free life today. Well, we go to the 3rd inning here at Rogers Center in Toronto, and the Yankees now have a 3-2 lead. Frank Catalanato will lead off. And the pitch is outside from Ponson, 1-0. The Hyundai scoreboard, 3-6-0 for the Yanks, 2-2-0 for the Jays. Hit sharply and a base hit. He is a solid big league hitter, Frank Catalanato. Now has a 5-game hitting streak.
That's his 7th hit in this series. I mean, he's been a tough out, to say the least. 7 for 15. Speaking of another good hitter, let's go to the Bacardi Hitter Scouter Report. Vernon Wells, home sweet home. Hit a home run his first time up. 19 of his 25 home runs have been hit right here at Rogers Center. 2003, he led the American League in hits with 215. And back in 1999, hit his first Major League home run. It was off El Duque, who was with the New York Yankees at the time.
Wells, deep drive left field. Cabrera back, track, wall, and he makes the play. Catalanato will hustle back to first and just get in. So Wells' bid for a second 2-run home run thwarted by Melky Cabrera.
I don't know what was more impressive, the catch or the throw all the way to first base from the wall. Now watch Melky. He's back around the wall and leaps and makes the catch, then realizes that Catalanato's all the way to second base, and this throw is something else. Melky from the warning track in left field all the way to first base. There's the catch, first of all. And then this throw, he winds up like a javelin thrower and throws it 1 hop all the way to Jason Giambi. That's impressive.
That is not a left fielder's arm.
No.
He's got a strong arm.
That's an Olympic arm.
Well, he was playing center field in the minor leagues. Obviously, that spot is taken by Johnny Damon, but Melky really has turned himself into a plus defender in left field for the Yankees. Took that home run away from Manny Ramirez at the stadium. He's made a lot of nice plays, good throws as well, 8 outfield assists. And that ball would not have been gone, obviously, but it would have been an extra base hit.
Here it is again. Gauges the wall, moves to his left, comes up with it, and then says, hey. That's impressive. All the way around, the catch and the throw.
Another deep drive to left field. Cabrera back. Track. Wall. 4-3 Jays. That is the 26th home run for Gloss and the 4th home run against the Yanks this year. Melky couldn't make that play.
Sitting right in the middle. We talked about it the whole series. He's gets those arms extended. He's got light tower type power, and this a long home run to left center.
Well, they call these shutdown innings, and it happened to Jarrett Wright earlier in this series where the Yankees came back and got 3 runs in the 3rd inning while the Yankees were down 4-3. And Jarrett gave up a run, and you know about it. When you're struggling a little bit, you give up some runs early on, and your team comes out and scores. It's a shutdown inning. However you get it, throw up a 0 there. Unfortunately for Ponce and the Yankees, he wasn't able to do that.
Overbay swings and foul tips the ball.
I was talking with Gator before about Ponce and what he sees, what are you trying to change, if anything, and he likes his stuff. And just watching the movement on the ball, he's got tremendous movement.
Overbay, fly ball right center, and that's going to dunk in. That was up there a long time, and it didn't seem as if Bubba Crosby really read it well off the bat, because that's a ball, when it's up there that long, should be caught.
Looked like Bubba took the route like he started back. I mean, he saw the long home run off the bat of Gloss. Maybe he's fooled by the swing. You watch him start back and then have to come on. And by the time he comes on, the ball falls in for a base hit. So Bubba kind of misjudges this one, then has to play it on the hop.
That's exactly what he did. Off the bat, it did sound like it was hit a lot harder than it was.
Greg Zahn a little bit low. Yankees have the bullpen busy. Chris Wilson warming.
So to finish, Gator was saying the problem with Ponce is that he's got 4 really good pitches, but he could be wild in the zone and throw too many strikes. And it sounds a little odd when you hear a pitching coach saying he could throw too many strikes. But when you have command of the plate, being in center middle is not where you want to be. And sometimes aggressive pitchers like Sidney Ponce, you make mistakes in the zone, which is what he did there with the 1-1 fastball to Gloss.
So you're saying the problem is not throwing the ball over, it's throwing the ball over in good location.
Quality major league pitches.
There's a strike. Well, he's given up 2 long home runs. The Gloss home run 410 feet, and the Wells home run 423 feet. So the 833 feet of home runs have given the Blue Jays a 4-3 lead.
There's guys that are afraid of contact. They run away from the bat, and then there's other people who are in the zone so much that it becomes hittable.
Guidry checking to see if Chris Wilson's ready. And the Yankees are thinking right here, not that they want to yank Ponce out of the ball game. Of course, they'd want a longer outing from their starter, but they see Markham, and they figure they're going to score more runs. So they're certainly not down that they're down 4-3. They just want to stop it right here because they feel that there are more runs in their bats against Sean Markham. 3-1. Zahn throws his bat for the 2nd time today. This one not as far as the other throw.
Got to get a little more pine tar.
Either that, or sometimes catchers, the hands are beat up, and he might have trouble just holding on. You have a finger that's injured or something, and as you mentioned, I don't see any pine tar on that bat. I do see batting gloves, though.
Very little.
Maybe a hint of it.
Overbay goes, and pitches foul back. Eric Hinsky's on deck. Overbay goes again, pitches outside, so no throws, on walks. And that'll do it for Sidney Ponson. Some might interpret this as a quick hook, but the Yankees could say, hey, he's walked 3 batters in 2 1/3 innings. He's allowed 2 home runs and 4 runs, and we want to stop it right here. So Joe Torre will take the ball from Ponson. A disappointing start on the heels of his solid first outing, and they will bring in Chris Wilson. Wilson comes in first and second, 1 out. Eric Hinsky coming up. Jays lead 4-3. Well, Sidney Ponson struggled, and as I said, his first start as a Yankee was impressive, but this one was not. And Joe Torre makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by the McDonald's Dollar Menu. He can't be happy with his performance, and I'm sure that the Yankees aren't either. 2 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. He threw 57 pitches, and he leaves runners on first and second with 1 out here in the 3rd inning, and it turns it over to Chris Wilson.
5th appearance for Wilson, and 7 hits and 6 2/3, 5 strikeouts. Get a good curveball. He hung one to Troy Glaus the other day. That Glaus hit homered. Hinsky's had 3 hits and 8 at-bats, and the series comes up with 2 men on here. The Yankees looking for the double play to get out of the inning.
That one's driven deep to right field. Williams back, looking, see ya! A 3-run home run for Eric Hinsky. And the Blue Jays now lead 7-3.
Looked like a changeup low, and Hinsky's a good low ball hitter. Blue Jays have hit 2 2-run homers and now a 3-run homer. And Hinsky's 2nd home run of the series. Hit one yesterday off Chen Meng Wong.
Pitch to Aaron Hill is a strike. Ponson not thrilled with that home run. 2 of the 3 runs his responsibility. You wonder how much Hinsky was pumped up. The ordeal of getting Ponson into Toronto took out of him. Not to give him an excuse, but we mentioned yesterday he actually got into his hotel room at about 4 in the morning on Saturday. Now, he had all day yesterday to rest, and today is Sunday, but he had a hard time with visa issues to get into the country. Couldn't travel here with the team.
Well, I'm pretty sure he had a side day with Rich Monteleone, who does some pitching coach and advanced scouting with the radar gun in Staten Island.
Grounded foul.
You know, as a starter, it is all about routine, and whether that affected him or not, it certainly wasn't the normal 5-day routine, and certainly what Sidney's thinking and feeling right now is not even close to being a good feeling.
Base hit to center field.
That was another one of those spinning varieties of curveballs that was up in the air. And you know, Aaron Hill hitting over 300 in his 2nd season in the major leagues, and had a pretty good year last year. He is, and what I've seen in the brief time he's been in the major leagues, anything above the belt, he's going to make a good pass at it. And that was a curveball that was up, and he hammers it in the center.
Here's John McDonald. And the pitch outside, 1-0. Well, what we've seen in this series are the candidates for the Yankees' 5th starter spot. Ponson, Chris Wilson, and Sean Chacon. And although it's early in this outing, the one who's been most impressive over the weekend was Sean Chacon, coming out of the bullpen after not pitching in 17 days. But Wilson's now served up 2 home runs and 2 relief appearances, and Ponson certainly was very, very shaky in this one. One and one.
And I think it's all relative. When you go to Chacon, you know, he hadn't worked in 17 days. And I asked him if he was a little stiff after working in the second game of the series. He went 2 2/3, a run, 3 hits, a strikeout, and 3 walks. And that was the best of the 3 pitchers you talked about.
Well, the 5th starter for every organization is Achilles' heel. In many cases, a lot of teams only have 3 good starters, and they mix and match with 4 and 5.
You know, I know Kitty has talked about this in the past, or colleague Jim Cott. He feels you should go with your 4 best. But, you know, right now, pitchers aren't trained to do that.
And also, it's not applicable with the Yankees because Messina couldn't do it, neither could Randy Johnson.
What I mean.
Maybe Chen-Ming Wong could, but I don't think the other 2
Yeah,
could.
the pitchers aren't trained to do that now.
And if one team wanted to do that, the problem would be that the other teams wouldn't. And then if you acquired a pitcher that's used to pitching every 5 days, all of a sudden you're saying you're pitching every 4, it would be thrown out of whack. So it would have to be an agreement for all the teams to do it. Some teams don't believe it's the way to go. Runner goes, and that one is served into right field for a base hit. Aaron Hill will go to third, and the inning continues.
You see, but one thing, though, about baseball, it's a copycat situation. If one organization starts doing it with their pitchers in the minor leagues, and all of a sudden they're having success, and you build a staff of young pitchers that are all going on 4 days rest and rolling through the season, and instead of having a guy in the 5th spot who's at best 50-50, and you have 4 guys who have winning records, the other team's going to find out a way to do that, too.
Gator just on the phone.
Somebody's getting up in the Yankee bullpen, but then that'd be like turning the clock back 35-40 years.
And we'll see Sean Chacon again. This chiropractic telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Here's Reed Johnson as the Blue Jays have batted around here in the 3rd. One final point on that 4-man rotation. If one team decided to do it and develop pitchers out of their system, honestly, I mean, when an organization can make 1 pitcher and bring him to the big leagues, imagine doing 4 at the same time and getting the likelihood is not very good.
The only time you really hear a talk about it is down the stretch in September, where teams are all of a sudden, you know,
that one's driven deep to left field. Going back, Cabrera on the track. See ya! Another 3-run home run. This one off the bat of Reed Johnson. And the Blue Jays are pouring it on. They lead the Yankees 10-3.
put a couple men on base and then hit 1 out. That's been the formula today. 2 2-run homers and 2 3-run homers. Reed Johnson with home run number 6 on the year.
Here's Catalanato, and there's a strike. And another strike. So in this inning, a 2-run home run, a 3-run home run, and another 3-run home run. Still just 1 out. And the 0-2. 1-2 to Catalanato.
Well, we've talked about it the whole series. This is not a fluke. This Blue Jay lineup, they're number 1 in batting average, 2 in home runs, 1 in total bases.
Right back up the middle, knocked down by Wilson. 2-way. They're first in hits, first in slugging percentage.
Yeah, this team can definitely hit.
Here's Vernon Wells. Wells with a 2-run home run, also robbed of an extra base hit by Melky Cabrera. So how much worse would this inning be if not by the play by Cabrera? This is the second time this year the Yankees have given up 3 home runs in 1 inning. The other time was on June 17th against the Nationals at Washington in the 5th inning. Driven deep to right center field. Bubba Crosby on the run. In the gap. And he can't hold on to the ball, as Vernon Wells will go to second with a double.
Well, all inning long, the Yankee outfielders have been in a retreat mode, and Bubba Crosby got to the point where it looked like he should have had it. But with a long run, the ball's going to hit off the heel of his glove. Sometimes as you're running, your eyes are bouncing. You know, you're hitting on the heels as you run, and Bubba couldn't handle it, and Vernon Wells is going to get a 2-base hit.
Here's Gloss, and the pitch is outside. The 1-0 from Wilson. Breaking ball on the count, 1-1.
I mean, to say that the Blue Jay hitters are comfortable is a tremendous understatement. But, you know, when you're struggling like this and giving up home runs and hard hit balls, you know, I haven't really seen any pitches that are under the chin or moving guys' feet. Right now, these Blue Jay hitters, every one of them are swinging big, long, and hard.
Taking their ace swings.
Yeah. You got to, there's breaking balls away, fastballs away. You know, and you see that, you gotta come inside. And since Wilson's been in, I haven't seen any pitches that have been running balls off the plate. Especially when guys are real comfortable in there. Got to move their feet. You don't have to hit them.
And the count 3-1. And the 3-1 pitch. Strike, and the count is full at 3-2.
You know, for Chris Wilson, he's not a guy on this rotation or this staff that's going to be given many opportunities. You know, this is every single pitch is extremely important for a guy like Chris Wilson to be in the major leagues.
Driven down the right field line and out of play.
And when you're the 24th and 25th man, your opportunities are kind of limited to begin with, and then when you don't come through, you know, they look for somebody else pretty quick.
Just got a note from the Blue Jay publicity department. 8 runs is the largest 3rd inning in club history. And that's what they're at right now, 8 runs. And he walks Gloss, and the inning continues. Well, that look says it all. Not easy to watch.
He's in a tough spot when you bring in your long man in the 3rd inning and you got Chacon ready. You certainly don't want to burn your go-to guys in a game like this if it stays this way. Chris Wilson is in a role that, you know, really got to eat up innings.
And that falls under the heading of sometimes you have to lose the battle to win the war, and you don't want to give this game away. But if you're going to keep switching pitches or pitchers, all of a sudden you're going to get pitchers that really matter out on the mound pitching innings, and you don't want to do that. So you're going to try to stretch out Wilson and then go to Chacon. But there's just so much that you could take. If Wilson can't get people out, you almost have your hand forced. This half inning at this point is 26 minutes long. First and second with 2 outs. Fouled away.
Well, one thing we have seen over 4 days here, the Toronto Blue Jays can swing the bat. They make a lot of contact. They have the fewest strikeouts in the league. Their hitters they've got power and they make contact. Their hitting coach is Mickey Brantley.
2-1. Grounded foul. And the count now 2-2. Sean Markham spending a lot of time on the bench, but he will trade that off for the runs that he's getting. The 2-2. Strike 3. Overbay down looking, and the inning is finally over. Blue Jays score 8 runs on 8 hits, but the big hits, home runs. Troy Gloss started off with a 2-run home run. Then Eric Hinsky, a 3-run home run. And then Reed Johnson followed that with a 3-run home run of his own. We go to the 4th, 10-3 Jays. Well, we go to the 4th inning, and the Yankees are trailing now 10-3, and the first pitch to Nick Green is outside 1-0. Green singled in the second. Let's see how Markham pitches with a lead, a big lead. Count 1-1. Bottom of the 3rd. It took 27 minutes, 13 batters, 8 hits, 8 runs, and that's the most runs the Blue Jays have ever scored in a 3rd inning. 3 home runs and 4 singles. There was a double thrown in there as well.
Watching Markham here, he's not wasting any time, is it? Just getting the ball and throwing it. That's one way of keeping your fielders happy behind you.
And very demoralizing for the other team to have a long inning, and now the opposing pitcher quick 1, 2, 3, and you're back out there standing again after that long inning.
Yankees have made up big deficits in this season. And I think that they'd probably be down if Roy Halladay was on the mound. I mean, they're not feeling good about things right now, but mentally, I don't think that they believe they're out of this game. Roy Halladay's just charting right now. But they have to do better than that as Nick Green swings and misses. Time for the Aflac trivia question here in the top of the 4th inning. Who is the only Blue Jay manager to win the American League Manager of the Year? We will find out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Pitch to Bubba Crosby is a strike. A lot of pitchers say it's difficult to pitch with a big lead. Is it difficult yet to change your approach?
I didn't, but the reason why they say that is because if you do get behind, you're supposed to throw fastballs because you don't want to walk a guy on off-speed pitches. So it's kind of crazy in that sense. But most of the time, today's pitchers, they don't go out of their game plan, no matter the scoreboard. Believe me, I don't think there's many pitchers that wouldn't take a 7-run lead. Much easier to pitch with a big lead.
One of the best that we've seen here that was able to pitch with a big lead was David Wells. He'd go out there and he'd throw fastballs, and he'd say, hit the ball. And he'd usually get people to make out.
Well, you play on the aggressiveness of the hitter. Now, hitters are in there realizing they're down 7 runs. They're trying to hit the 5-run homer. swing a little harder.
Funny you mentioned playing on the aggressiveness of hitters, because Joe Girardi got angry at his Florida Marlin team. He said because everybody was up there trying to swing for home runs in the last week, and he told them, when I was a catcher, I used to salivate over hitters like you. He said I could tell that everybody wanted to hit a 3-run home run, and I would call the game accordingly. And it's easier to pitch to a batter who's trying to hit a home run than a guy who's just trying to make contact and drive the ball up the middle.
Yeah, anytime you can get that pitcher to work 6, 7, 8, 9 pitches per at bat.
Driven out to left field, fairly deep. Catalanato back in front of the track, 2 away.
Well, you talked about the Yankees having a number of at-bats to go in this game, and the whole idea is you can't think you're going to get it all back at once. You got to, as the game goes along, you got to get a run here, 2 there, you know, and then keep going from that standpoint. And I recall that game against Texas where the Yankees early this year were way behind, further behind than they are now.
Wasn't it 10-1, I think?
Yeah, it was something like that, and they came back and won in the bottom of the 9th inning on the last swing of the bat by Jorge Posada at Yankee Stadium. But you know, by the time they got there, they had really changed the momentum of the game. And right now the momentum is clearly in favor of the Toronto Blue Jays. So they're going to have to do some things offensively to kind of swing that pendulum the other way.
And Johnny Damon strikes out. So a 1-2-3 inning for Sean Markham. He does exactly what you want a pitcher to do after his team puts up a big crooked number. Got him off the off-speed pitch. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 10-3 Jays. Well, Chris Wilson is out there to eat up innings, and they want him to get some people out. Here's Greg Zahn. And there's a strike as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Zahn has walked twice. Now that game that Kenny's talking about, the Yankees were down 9-0 in the bottom of the 2nd inning to Texas, and they ended up winning the game 14-13. So stranger things have happened.
You can't count on that every day, though, simply. That was a instant Yankee classic, if I remember correctly. That was a game that against Texas. The Yankees are playing Texas starting tomorrow night right here on Yes. That was the game that Mark Teixeira ran over Jorge Posada at home plate.
Now we've detailed Ponsone's ineffectiveness today. We're watching Chris Wilson's. Sean Chacon marginally effective earlier in this series. As Zahn walks for the 3rd time. Do not be shocked if you see Aaron Small back here with the Yankees, because he just pitched very well in a start in Columbus. I think he won 8 innings and gave up a couple of runs. So that might be a move the Yankees could make if they don't make a deal. Let's take a look at the answer to the Aflac trivia question. Who's the only Blue Jay manager ever win American League Manager of the Year? And the answer is Bobby Cox, way back in 1985. The weird part about that is that Cito Gaston won 2 World Series here as the manager of the Blue Jays and never really got any respect. People said, hey, that team was so great, anybody could do it. And obviously, he never won the Manager of the Year despite winning 2 World Series with them.
And they haven't won since.
I had Cito as manager while playing up here, and he wasn't, I guess you'd call it an X's and O's guy, but what he was a terrific guy that kept the guys mentally right and let the guys play. There was no turmoil whatsoever and played everybody.
He sounds like the perfect manager for that team.
It was.
Yeah. And as Michael said, they had a veteran bunch of players who knew what to do, and he let them do it.
And it was a great team, great lineup. He put the same 9 guys out there.
Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. Well, he never won the Manager of the Year award, but he is going to get a bobblehead day here at Rogers Center later this year in Cito Gaston. And that could be bigger. Two-two, right in on the fist, popped up. Posada makes the play for the first out.
I saw the bobblehead. I don't think it looks like Cito Gaston.
Let me ask you this, Kenny.
Yeah.
Game like this, 10-3. You're a hitter. Now, no hitter wants to give away an at-bat.
On what side?
You're on the losing end.
Okay.
You're on the low end. Is it difficult not to give up on the game and just take your hacks and think along to the next city?
No, you want to. I got up there, it was business time. If nothing else, you want to look in the box score the next day and see you got a couple of hits, even if you lost. I mean, it's one of those games. If you lose this game, you really had no chance. I mean, they just bludgeoned you. You know, they came out and just. The tough games for me to lose are the ones at 3-2 and 5-4, because one thing could have changed it.
What we've seen from some teams, though, is a team that usually will work the count. They fall behind, and maybe this is because it's against the Yankees and it's a team that doesn't think that they can beat the Yankees. All of a sudden, they're swinging the first pitch.
Yeah, put it in play.
Put it in play. Let's go.
No, I wasn't that type of hitter. They're going to have to get me out.
Right back up the middle, almost took off Wilson's head. A base hit for Aaron Hill as Zahn moves to second.
Well, if you're saying do major league hitters give at bats away? Absolutely. I've heard it from many of them. These are games. Here's a fastball away. Aaron Hill stayed on the ball, spun Chris Wilson's hat around. And games that are viewed as blowouts, sometimes it is difficult for hitters to stay in what Kenny's talking about, that little box of seeing the ball, putting a good pass at it, hit the ball solid. You're not giving up, but based on strategy-wise, when it is a blowout, things change.
Pitch to John McDonald is a strike.
In blowout games, I was hoping I'd get taken out of the game. Then I wouldn't have to worry about it bats.
And you know the strange part about the way big league rosters are right now?
It's tough.
It's tough to give people rest because there aren't that many people on the bench. And you've got to save your catcher because you don't want to use the only catcher. So that cuts your bench down to 3 people. Teams carry so many pitchers, it's hard to give people rest in games like this. Outside, 2-1.
Especially in the American League, because you're right. Look at the Yankees bullpen 7. The Blue Jays bullpen is 7. That's unusual. In the American League or National League, you'll see a lot of bullpens that have 5 guys, given the 2 extra spots on the bench.
Well, they pinch hit a lot more, and they also double switch a lot more.
Base hit to right field. Zahn will stop at third, and the bases are loaded with Blue Jays. What are we seeing from Wilson? Why is he so ineffective?
He's
right
leaving
now?
a lot of balls up. It looks like his velocity isn't, where it should be. You either got to be above the hitting speed or below, and he's right around that 88 mark. You're seeing some pretty good swings on there. This is a good swing. McDonald stays on the ball there, tries not to pull off the ball. He's been getting behind. His breaking ball's kind of rolling, and he's leaving a lot of pitches that are hittable. Middle, up. That pitch there wasn't middle, up, but
I think in a different situation, you might have seen third base coach Brian Butterfield send the runner. But with the Blue Jays up, you don't want to have any collisions at home plate or anything like that. But in a close game, as we see Sean Chacon warming up in the Yankee bullpen for the second time, you might have seen Greg Zahn being sent home.
Right.
Especially with Bernie Williams in his arm in right field. But since they're up by 7, and you don't need that collision at home plate to get somebody hurt, you hold the run.
Here's Reed Johnson, a double and a home run, and a fielder's choice. He's 2 for 3. Off-speed pitch. 0-1. Zahn's at third. Aaron Hill's at second. John McDonald is at first. And you can almost see the way Guidry was talking to Wilson as if to say, you know what? You're going to have to suck it up here. One and one. Reed Johnson, a .346 hitter with runners in scoring position, .351 overall. Line drive, snared there by Jeter. There's one. And a nice scoop by Giambi. There's two. McDonald went in hard at second base, but Nick Green stayed in there and got the throw off to Giambi. So a 6-4-3 double play. Nice play by Jeter on the turf to start it. And the Yankees keep the Blue Jays off the board. 2 runners are left. We go to the 5th.
Bob Lorenz in our RES Studios with this Nissan update. Let's get caught up on the Central Division. The Tigers, of course, leading, and they're leading the Oakland A's thanks to a 6-run first inning. Magglio Ordonez, with the bases stuffed, knocks in a couple. So Tigers leading 8-4, up by 6.5 in the Central over the White Sox, who are leading Texas right now. Michael?
Thank you, Bob. Here at the Rogers Center in Toronto, the Blue Jays lead the Yankees 10-3 on the Chevy scoreboard. 10-12-0 Blue Jays. 3-6-0 for the Yankees. Derek Jeter will start it off against Sean Markham.
Michael, to get back to your question, does your concentration wane as a hitter? I think it might wane a little more if you're on the winning side. You know, you probably got a couple of hits already. Maybe you've driven in a run or two, maybe even 3, and your team's got a big lead.
Jeter grounds one to third. Gloss. One away.
Does your concentration wane, or do you go up there and give away at bats as a guy on the winning side? I think you got to realize that there are days, or start to think about it, either way, whether you're winning or losing, that you got to take advantage of what's given to you. You got to try and get your hits, because tomorrow you might not get any. That's the situation.
Blue Jays go into their shift. You think Sean Markham tastes it? If he gets 2 more outs, he's eligible for the victory, which would be his first big league win. The 0-1. 1-1.
Well, with a 10-3 lead, he could savor a lot of run support, but it's not going to be like this all the time.
Foul back in the count. 2-2.
Giambi leads the Yankees in extra base hits. He's got the 28 home runs. Now 14 doubles.
And there's a base hit the other way by Giambi. So Giambi's 2 for 3. Samsung's 4 Seasons of Hope and Joe Torre have teamed up to make a difference in the community. For every Yankees home run hit at home this year, Samsung will donate $1,000 to Joe Torre's Safe at Home Foundation to help end the cycle of domestic violence. You can join the team and support Samsung's Home Run for Kids by visiting fourseasonsofhope.com or joetorre.org, because a little hope can make a big difference. Here's Alex Rodriguez. He is 0 for 2.
Now, Giambi's had 4 hits in this series, and Michael, 2 of them have gone against the shift. So maybe starting to realize there's some openings on the other side.
Maybe he also started to tire of his average going down.
Well, the first one was that cue ball off of B.J. Ryan.
Yeah, but it still went to the left side of second.
That ball was much better struck ball there.
Rodriguez skies one to deep left. Going back, Catalanato leaps, and he makes the play. And A-Rod cannot catch a break as Catalanato takes the extra base hit away.
Good play by Catalanato in left, and it gives you an indication of how strong A-Rod is, because this was not his best swing. He was out in front, but kept his hands back enough and got good wood on it and drove the ball all the way to the wall, where Catalanato made a good catch. The cat is back. And up against the wall as he makes the play.
Here's Posada. The Yankee offense today, a 3-run home run in the third. Count 1-0. Along with Al Leiter and Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on the Yes Network. We thank you for joining us on this Sunday afternoon. We're in the top of the 5th inning, final game of a 4-game set. And the Blue Jays with an 8-run third inning lead the Yankees 10-3. Blue Jays have struck 4 home runs in this game. And Posada skies one the other way and out of play. Here in the Rogers Center, looks like a crowd again of over 40. And they've had a good 4 games here with the Yankees. They averaged 25,000 fans per game coming in. But the first day was 42. Friday was just over 40. Yesterday was a sellout at 50,000. This one looks like it's about 43, 44. So the Blue Jays like seeing the Yankees come to town. Most teams do. Count 2-1. Bernie Williams is on deck. Took something off that pitch, and the count 2-2. Markham at 90 pitches. He certainly has not been economical. We're here in the 5th inning. The 2-2. Now 3-2.
Looked like he threw 2 changeups in a row, and you know, he's got a memory. He knows who hit the home run off him.
Line drive and snared there by Hill. What a nice play. And that'll do it. Took a base hit away from Posada. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. At the end of 4.5, we are halfway through here at Rogers Center. It's the Blue Jays 10, the New York Yankees 3. You're watching the Yankees right here on Yes. Every time a Yankees pitcher strikes out an opposing batter, the Tri-State Hyundai dealers will make a donation to the Hope and Heroes Children's Cancer Fund and the Morgan Stanley Children's Hospital of New York Presbyterian. If you would like to contribute along with the Tri-State Hyundai dealers, log on to hopeandheroes.org. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and it's over for Sean Markham. They don't want to stretch him out that much. So he is eligible to get the victory. And now it's up to the Blue Jay bullpen. There's Sean. New pitcher for the Yankees. Another Sean Chacon.
Yeah, one thing we should mention about Markham, he had, as we look at Chacon's numbers, more walks than strikeouts and more than a hit per inning. And the stretch on the DL didn't seem to do him much good when he came back. You know, he wasn't sharp. And Markham, we should say, as we look at our ChevyOffers.com, the big inning for the Blue Jays, an 8-run third inning, pushed him out in front 10-3. Markham was working as a reliever in the minor league, so he's not really stretched out, and that's one reason why he's out of the game after 5 innings. He got congratulations from his teammates.
Hit sharply to Jeter. And there's one away. So Markham, after 92 pitches, is going to depart. And the Yankees are hoping to get at least 3 innings out of Sean Chacon. And the way Ponson pitched and the way Wilson pitched, Sean Chacon has to look at this as an opportunity to get himself back in the rotation, because you're relieving on this day, and the next time this day comes up 5 days from now, maybe you'll be the starter. So the stakes are high for Chacon. Rip foul. Ooh.
Even had the policeman on the move.
Jeremy Accardo, who they got in the deal for Shea Hillenbrand from the San Francisco Giants, will see his first Blue Jay action. Wells is 2 for 3 today, a home run and a double. Also robbed of an extra base hit. Nice play by Cabrera. Count 1-1. Outside, and the count 2-1.
I think the struggles for Chacon this year have been all location related. A lot of walks, pitches within the zone, a lot of base hits. He has to be very fine with his breaking stuff. He's got a good curveball, got a decent changeup, but he's got to get ahead on counts with his fastball. And right now he's behind on another hitter, and a dangerous one in Vernon Wells.
Deep drive, left center field. Crosby back, turning, looking, see ya. A solo home run for Vernon Wells. The Blue Jays' 5th home run against Yankee pitching, and Toronto leads 11-3.
Yeah, when you got a hitter like Vernon Wells at the plate, and he can just line up a fastball, ahead on the count. He's very hot with the bat. We've seen that. His pitch is towards the middle. Short, quick swing, powerful. One of the best players in the league. In fact, talking to Larry Bowl before the game, I said, you know, Vernon Wells is a good player. He said, good. You mean very good.
Pitch the gloss is a strike.
A very good player.
Lost fouls it away, the count 0-2.
And one thing the Blue Jays know about Vernon, there's a big payday in his future. They don't know if it's going to come here or not, but very near future for Vernon Wells. His next contract will be a big one. He's got 1 more year, but the Blue Jays are going to have to figure out whether we're going to give him an extension, whether they're going to trade him.
Popped up. Nick Green. Well, they'd love to give him an extension. The whole problem is, does he want to stay? And we've talked about this in the first game here, that the rumors abound that he wants to play in Arlington, Texas. He's from Arlington. His best friend in baseball is Michael Young. And that will pose a difficult problem for the Blue Jays. They've centered their marketing plan around him, and he's their star. Came up through the system. You just don't want to trade him away. But if they know they can't sign him, they better do it.
Well, they've handed out big money to Burnett, B.J. Ryan, Halladay, and those are the 3 guys that have gotten decent contracts here. So, but can their
Gloss is making big money.
Yeah, and can the budget take 1 more?
Overbay with a fly ball to left field, and Melky puts it away for the final out of the 5th. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. Vernon Wells today, a 2-run home run in the 1st inning. And here in the 5th inning, he picked up his 26th home run of the year and his 2nd home run of the game, a solo shot. Let's go to the 6th. Hey fans, get a second chance to see the latest game with WB Mason Presents Yankees Encore only on Yes. Tune in every night or the next morning at 9 for the big hits and great plays another time around. Don't miss WB Mason Presents Yankees Encore, only on Yes. Well, we'll get our first look now at Jeremy Accardo, who the Blue Jays just got from the San Francisco Giants in the trade for Shea Hillenbrand. 11-3, the Blue Jays lead as Accardo takes over for Markham. And this is the particulars of the trade. Blue Jays get Accardo, and the Giants get Hillenbrand and right-handed pitcher Vinny Chalk. And they also take the rest of Hillenbrand's salary, which is about, I guess, $3 million remaining, just a little bit less than that. And I think that was the Blue Jays' main objective. They didn't want to have to pay this guy's salary after they designated him for assignment. Here's Bernie Williams, and Accardo deals high.
I spoke with Dave Righetti, the pitching coach of the Giants, yesterday, and I asked him, Jeremy Accardo, who is he, what does he do? And he really likes him. Matter of fact, the Giants organization views him as a future closer. They say he's a slinger, throws his glove at the batter, very deceptive, but he settles in about 93. Righetti told me he'll hit as high as 97, 98 miles an hour.
And Bernie pops up to McDonald, one away.
I can see what you mean by that slinging motion with the glove. He kind of, that's deceptive when a hitter sees all kinds of movement, but he doesn't see baseball yet. You know, then all of a sudden you have to pick the ball up, and this is what Al's talking. Watch the glove on the hand. That comes first, and then the ball.
He's got a good split, slider, so-so.
Another pitcher they have like that is Gustavo Chacin. He's another one who kind of throws the glove at the hitter.
Boy, that's interesting, though, Al, what you say that they really like him and they gave him up. It tells you how desperate they were for another hitter, and they really needed Shea Hillenbrand. They had sent down Lance Negro, who had started the season as the first baseman, and Hillenbrand picked up his first hit yesterday. Chopper to second, going to be a tough play. Hill doesn't make it. Base hit for Melky Cabrera, his second hit of the night.
Melky gets an artificial surface special. A couple high chops, and Aaron Hill cannot make the play. He's playing back. There's the first hop. He can't get to it. He has to play the second hop, and then rushes to throw to first and kind of handcuff Lyle Overbay. But here's Melky. Melky's thinking, this is going to be my second hit of the game. And he hustles and beats it out. He's now 2 for 3.
Nick Green fouls one away. Green 161. That's with the Devil Rays and the Yankees. In fact, with the Devil Rays, he was 3 for 39.
Well, anytime you join a new ball club, Al, particularly in the middle of the season, you want to make a quick first impression. You want to let everybody know that I'm going to be here to help you guys out. I'm speaking of Accardo and Nick Green, for that matter.
Missed outside, 1 and 2.
Because if you come in and you start giving up rockets all over the field, your teammates think, what kind of deal was this? There's the coaching staff with the manager, John Gibbons, on the left. Ernie Witt, the bench coach.
That one gets away from Zahn as Melky Cabrera moves to second. You could actually see what Brad Arnsberg, the pitching coach, was doing. Well, he throws this and he throws that. He's telling the manager, who probably doesn't know either.
Little slider there. He's a non-drafted player. They actually signed him after the Summer League, Alaskan College League. And he buzzed through the system. 2 years. Signed in 03. Last year he was called up. He was 1-5 with a high 3 ERA. And Dave Righetti couldn't say enough nice things about him. As his disposition, his demeanor, his competitiveness. He was a shortstop in college and pitched a little.
Nick Green spanks one to center field. Vernon Wells back. He can't get there. It's one hop up against the wall. Melky Cabrera will score, and Nick Green slides into second with an RBI double. Green's second hit of the afternoon.
Well, Tom Seaver pitched in that league in Alaska. You can actually start some games at midnight up there during the summer in some of the places in the largest state of the union. As Vernon Wells going to have to run this one down. Nick Green with a rocket. That's what you don't want to do when you're joining a team, giving up bullets all over the ballpark.
Here's Bubba Crosby and another bullet, this one to left field. Nick Green's going to round third. He will score. It's an RBI single for Crosby. Yankees not dying. It's now 11-5.
Just stays on the ball. See the ball running away. Look at his eyes down onto the ball. Good bat lag. Going the other way. So the kind of at bats that Kenny's talking about. You try not to stay away from a 5-run home run. Just put the ball in play. This inning was started off on a chopper off the plate with Melky Cabrera.
Count 1-0 to Damon. Damon's 1 for 3. Singled in the first inning, flied to right, and then struck out.
And you'll hear it in the dugout. All right, you know, we're down a lot, but chip away, chip away. One here, one there.
Let's keep it going. And what you do is you start building some momentum. And if you get close enough to where a grand slam can tie the game, then all of a sudden you're saying, hey, come on now. Let's make this final push.
Line drive, foul.
Well, John Gibbons is feeling the vibe too about that momentum. He's got Schoenweiss.
Yeah, looks like him
warming up in the bullpen.
Count 3-1. It is Scott Schoenweiss, one of the 4 left-handers the Blue Jays have in their pen. He actually picked up the save in a game earlier in the series. That was on Friday night. 3-1. Foul back. Three-2. Stays alive. We told you earlier that Johnny Damon is proficient at fouling off 2-strike pitches. Coming into this game 114 times he's done that. That leads the team. And that's what makes him a prototypical leadoff man, because sometimes he could do that in the first inning, have a 10, 8, 9, 10 pitch at bat, let everybody else see what the pitcher has. Pops that one up behind the plate. Greg Zahn. 2 outs. Here's Derek Jeter. Derek today is 1 for 2 with a sac bunt. And a strike from Ricardo.
Yeah, you mentioned you come over to a new team, you're traded, you want to impress your new teammates and your organization. Here, this guy's 24 years old, 2 years out of college. He's in Toronto facing Derek Jeter and the New York Yankees.
Rounded up the middle. Stopped there by McDonald. He tries to get the force at second. He does not. A base hit for Jeter.
Good hustle by McDonald, even though they're up by big score. But give Bubba Crosby some credit, too, for hustling down to second. You got to get down there. And I'm surprised he didn't slide to make because this play is a lot closer than it should have been. He goes in standing up. He's there instead. He's okay.
If you saw, he had like a little turn. I think he did realize McDonald would have been able to stop that ball. That was a good play, McDonald.
Well, John Gibbons takes the ball from Ricardo, whose first outing with the Blue Jays is men's. And they go to the left-hander Scott Schoenweis to face Jason Giambi. Yankees trying to get back in this. They're trailing 11-5, but they have runners on first and second and 2 outs. And Jeter picks up this infield hit despite a nice play by McDonald to get to the ball. We'll be back. Fans, it's just about that time of year. Tune in on Thursday, August 3rd for a brand new season of the Giants Training Camp Report. Join host Bob Papa for the latest news, interviews, and team analysis as Big Blue gears up for their 2006 campaign. It's an all-new season of the Giants Training Camp Report premiering Thursday, August 3rd at 9:30 only on Yes. Here's Scott Schoenweis, his 48th game. Picked up that save on Friday. Now a big at bat for Jason Giambi. Yankees, very frankly, are one big swing away from being right back in this ball game. 2 men on, they're trailing by 6. It's 11-5. Giambi 2 for 3 today.
I always felt when a left-hander came out of the bullpen to face a left-handed hitter, he was trying to get him out with the breaking ball. And you saw the first pitch was a slider and it missed.
That one's driven out to left center field. Vernon Wells on the run. He's there and he puts it away for the final out of the inning. So Giambi had a bid for an extra base hit, but the 2-time Gold Glove winner ran it down. But 2 runs for the Yankees on 4 hits. They leave 2. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 11-5 Jays. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Blue Jays 11 and the Yankees 5. Greg Zahn leads off against Sean Chacon in his 2nd inning of work. And the pitch to Zahn is a strike. Zahn, a no contact day, 3 walks and a run scored. Count 1-1. Simple question here, Al. You were a teammate of Chacon's in the 2nd half with the Yankees last year. What do you see differently this year from last year?
Well, he's talked about how he hasn't been as aggressive. And you look at his numbers with nearly having about 5.5 walks per 9. That's not good.
Now let me ask you that. Why wouldn't he be as aggressive? What would go loose there?
Have a couple bad games. You know, your confidence. You know, I mean, a lot of it is mental. You know, you don't feel as good about what you're doing. Guys are hitting the ball hard. Then you start getting away from contact. You get in bad counts. And then exactly what you're trying to get away from, guys start hitting you and scoring runs. And then it's a snowball. Here he is in the bullpen, and you know, you're in a fog.
Zahn almost falls down, strikes out, 1 away.
You know, also remember him last year. You know, he had that big slow curveball. You know, very effective breaking ball. When you're in positive counts like this was a nice 2-seam fastball running away. Saw that ball going down away. I don't know whether his repertoire has changed just a little bit, but I do remember him getting a lot of outs on his breaking ball.
And he changed speeds on it very well, too. He had a harder breaking ball, then he had a nice slow one.
Like that.
Like that.
And that was a big difference coming over from Colorado, because in Colorado the breaking ball in the thin air did not break that well. And all of a sudden he rediscovered it with the Yankees, but he has not been that effective this year.
You know, and he's very deceptive. You know, you look at 88, 87, he throws way across his body. And, you know, that's an ability for a pitcher to be able to hide the ball for a long time. So when you see 88 getting by guys, that deception is because he's so closed. Hitters don't pick up the ball, and they've been picking it up much better this year.
Along with Ken Singleton and Al Leiter, I'm Michael Kay. And you're watching Yankees baseball here on Yes. We're on the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Blue Jays with 5 home runs. They lead the Yankees by an 11-5 score. Yankees Sidney Ponson started just 2 1/3 innings. Chris Wilson ineffective in relief. Sean Chacon has given up a home run in his inning and a third. The 1-2.
It's a good curveball there. His sequences in this at bat are good. You know, and his velocity too. And I'm not exactly sure, but I do remember seeing more 91s, 92s, touching on 90 much more often last year than this year. Seen a lot more 87, 88 mile an hour fastballs, and it doesn't sound like much, but a couple miles. It's the difference between getting on the solid part of the bat or getting jammed or off the end of the bat.
2-2.
Or fouling pitches back instead of putting them in play. I wonder how much of an effect of, however long he was on the DL. Was it 2-3 weeks?
After he got hit in the leg. I guess of all the velocities, just from listening to your talk over the years, Al, the one that you don't want is 87, 88. You want it either higher or lower, but 87, 88 is a hitter's velocity. The 2-2. Driven out to center field. And Bubba Crosby will put it away. 2 outs.
And the reason for that, Michael, the majority of major league pitchers are in that 88 to about 91. I'll even give it 92. Major league hitters, you keep pumping those fastballs, especially on the plate. Major league hitters are going to hit it hard. So you either have a special arm that goes above that, or you go below it, like a Tom Glavine, or Maddox was able to do it later in his career. He got underneath that. Jamie Moyer of the Seattle Mariners has made a career of throwing in the low 80s.
If it's not velocity, then it has to be movement and location. And you throw in deception as well.
That's what makes this game so fascinating. If you actually throw slower in some instances, it's better. It's just, as Kenny said and Al saying, it's velocity added in with location and changing speed.
And I think that's what's made Roger Clemens such a special pitcher over the years. Roger, of course, pitching for both these teams at one time. He's here in Toronto and also with the Yankees. I mean, he's been constantly 90 plus, maybe mid 90s earlier in his career, and he stayed near the mid 90s. He remained a power pitcher for all of these seasons. The ability to strike people out.
High fly ball left field. Melky Cabrera is there, and he'll put it away for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. So Chacon has retired 5 in a row. And we take it to the 7th inning. Blue Jays 11, Yankees 5. 30 years, the CN Tower just outside Rogers Center provides these sort of views for tourists that come into Toronto, and the elevator is going up to the top to look at the top of the roof here at Rogers Center. The roof's been closed since the beginning of the game. The Blue Jays trying to blow the roof off with 5 home runs. The IO Digital Cable scoreboard, Blue Jays lead 11-5. Alex Rodriguez takes a pitch outside, 1-0. Ground ball up the middle. McDonald. And A-Rod is 0 for 4. A-Rod wants to get out of Toronto. He's now 2 for 16 in this series. His next stop is Texas, where in 3 years he averaged over 50 home runs a season and also won an MVP award. Likes to hit in that ballpark. Here's Posada. Posada, a 3-run home run in the 3rd inning. They gave the Yankees a short-lived 3-2 lead. And he picks up a base hit right there. Cut off in the gap by Vernon Wells. He'll hold Posada to a single. In the box score, that's going to be swallowed up, but that was a very, very good play by Vernon Wells to keep that ball from going to the wall.
It's Gold Glove type play. I mean, he plays fairly deep to begin with. There's an old adage in the outfield, play deep and cut across, and this is exactly what he does. There's 2 hops and he's there and gets the ball back in, and Posada's held to a single. I know it's 11-5, and Posada's not going to take any chances anyway, but that's what Vernon Wells does on just about a daily basis here.
It's what every player should do. If you're talking about just playing hard.
Bernie Williams swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. Good numbers against Schoenweiss. 10 for 23, 2 of the 10 home runs. Bernie knows it, and Schoenweiss knows it. Grounded foul.
We mentioned earlier in the series that Bernie needed 2 doubles to tie Don Mattingly for second place on the all-time Yankee list. He's gotten 1, so now he's 1 behind. Got 441 doubles. The all-time Yankee leader, yeah, there he is right on top, Lou Gehrig, 534.
It's a nice list to be on. A lot of nice names. Nice stop by Zahn.
What a career. You know, I mean, you're mentioning those names, you know, only because I know Bernie well and he was a little behind me in the minor leagues, but wow, you know, I don't know any player when you start out to say, yeah, I'm going to be on the same list with Babe Ruth and Don Mattingly, Lou Gehrig. What a career Bernie Williams has had.
I mean, if you get on the all-time list here, you have no other option but to be up with some big-time names.
I guess I say it because knowing Bernie and having gone through the Yankee system, and now to see him as a Yankee great, not that he doesn't deserve it, but it's just nice to see, to know a guy that's going to go down in the history of this great franchise as one of the greatest, deservingly so. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
And struggled so much at the beginning, so timid, wore those big eyeglasses. Guys like Mel Hall taunted him with the name Bambi, and really persevered through everything and won a batting title, 4 World Series.
The game didn't come that easy. Remember, Bernie was a right-handed hitter when he started. He had to learn how to switch hit.
That's right.
And I've seen other players try it when they got to the minor leagues. At the pro level, try and learn how to. It's not that easy. It can be very frustrating.
Grounded to third. Lost. The second one on to first. Double play. A 5-4-3 double play around the horn. So Bernie Williams is doubled up. No runs a hit. No errors. And because of the double play, nobody left. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here in Toronto. 11-5 Jays.
Hi, everyone. Bob Lorenz back in our studios with the Tri-State Quality Ford Update. Next up for the Yankees, the Rangers. They're taking on the White Sox today. Bottom of the 5th, Tadahito Iguchi pads a 2-0 White Sox lead with a 2-run shot out to right. His 11th of the year. The White Sox leading that one 4-0 now, top of the 7th. Trying to stay within 6.5 of the Tigers. Detroit has already won, beating Oakland 8-4. We'll have a complete update coming up on the post-game show. But now, back to Rogers Center.
Thank you, Robert. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning here in Rogers Center, it's 11-5 Blue Jays. And Sean Chacon in for his 3rd inning of work. He'll face 9-1-2 in the Blue Jay order, starting with John McDonald. That one is driven into left center field. Bubba Crosby dives, can't make the play, and it goes past him and rolls to the wall. John McDonald is chugging to third, and he will get there with a stand-up triple. John McDonald, 3 hits today.
Bubba on the move. He was playing towards right center, so that opened up the left center field gap, and the ball was hit too hard for him to close it all together. And John McDonald with his first triple of the season. And the Yankees are going to bring the infield in.
Here's Reed Johnson. Reed's 2 for 4. And the pitch is outside, 1-0. (11-5) Jays trying to take 3 out of 4 from the Yankees. Foul back. Red Sox play at 4:05. It'll be the Red Sox against Seattle. Red Sox lost yesterday. Yankees won, so the Yankees 2.5 behind. Fouled away. Red Sox game will start in about 20 minutes.
Jared Washburn is scheduled for Seattle, and John Lester, the young left-hander, scheduled for the Boston Red Sox. So a couple of lefties going in that game.
One-two. 2-2. And Ron Valone throwing for the Yankees.
Joe playing the infield in, obviously trying to save that run.
And we'll mention that John McDonald 3 for 4 today, and there are actually some heavy rumors here in Toronto that the Blue Jays are interested in Julio Lugo of Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has a great prospect in B.J. Upton, who's a shortstop at the AAA level, and they want to get him up to the big leagues. And Lugo is going to be a free agent, so maybe the Lugo talk somehow sparked John McDonald. Past a lunging Giambi and down the right field line. That's going to score McDonald, and Reed Johnson will go to second with an RBI double, as the Blue Jays now lead 12-5.
Reed Johnson has now driven in 4 runs in this game. 2 doubles and a home run. Slashes it the other way right by Jason Giambi. Was just off the line and in. Looked like Jason lost his footing on the dirt portion of the infield, and Johnson has himself a double, his 21st double of the year.
Here's Catalinato. He's 1 for 4. And the pitch is outside, 1-0.
You know, Alex Rios, who is having an all-star kind of year, having gotten injured and has staph infection, but actually has helped, I think, this Blue Jay lineup with Reed Johnson getting to play every day and Frank Catalinato playing every day.
Driven deep to right field, but way out in front, and foul.
There's less debate or controversy as who's the shortstop. They have Aaron Hill playing every day, and you get these young players not coming to the stadium doubting or wondering if they're in the lineup or not. Now, there's no question Alex Rios would be back, but having Catalinato and Reed Johnson in the lineup every day, they've been hot.
High drive, right field. Bernie Williams lopes back. He'll make the catch. Reed Johnson tags, and Reed will go to third, so 1 away. And that's going to bring up Vernon Wells. Wells has had a big afternoon. 2 home runs, a double, and robbed of an extra base hit. A nice play by Melky Cabrera up against the left field wall. That was in the 3rd. The double was also in the 3rd. Jay sent 13 batters to the plate that inning. Infield in again. Breaking ball away and a swing and a miss.
There's what Al was talking about, an aggressive hitter. He's looking to swing the bat. Now, when Vernon gets walks, it's because the opposition just about has to walk him. It's not that he's going to walk, go up there and not be aggressive. The pitches have to be so bad that he can't reach them.
Well, he got a home run his first at bat, a first pitch breaking ball that was pretty much middle off of Sidney Ponson. And that's all part of the whole scouting report stuff. Vernon Wells, 36% of the time he swings at the first pitch. Major league average is about 28%. These are numbers and stats that are out there for if guys want them. Ron Guidry, Joe Kerrigan will sit down with the starter and the catcher and go through these things. It's not by chance that you see that.
And the 0-2. Deep drive, right center field. That's going to get in a run. Bubba Crosby's there. Tagging is Reed Johnson. He'll score. It's another RBI for Vernon Wells, and it's a baker's dozen for the Blue Jays. They lead 13-5.
And yet another pitch that was up in the zone. Right now, he's not missing those. Anything that's up above the belt, he's going to cut and slash, and he's probably going to make pretty good contact. And this is just above the belt.
He'd be here,
and he's going to give it a ride, certainly far enough to get the runner home.
Here's Troy Gloss. And look for a moment that Sean Chacon was grabbing his leg. Now it seems like he's okay. And the 1-0. Grounded foul. Brian Butterfield, the third base coach, plays Gloss the way Larry Bowa played Gary Sheffield. He does not want to be too close to the big right-handed slugger. 26 home runs for Gloss. Driven to center field. Bubba Crosby will put it away for the final out of the inning. So the Blue Jays hit the ball hard. They scored 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the 8th inning. It's 13-5 Jays.
Time for the in-game box, sponsored by your Tri-State Lincoln and Mercury dealer. We take a look at the Yankees in-game box. Johnny Damon sits atop 1 for 4. Derek Jeter's had a multiple hit game. He's 2 for 3 with a run. The same for Jason Giambi, 2 for 4, a double and a run scored. Alex Rodriguez 0 for 4. Jorge Posada with a multiple hit game. The same for Melky Cabrera and Nick Green. And Bubba Crosby's 1 for 3 with an RBI. Blue Jays have made yet another pitching change as we go to the top of the 8th inning. The Yankees trailing 13-5, and the right-hander coming into the game is Brandon League. Hard throwing right-hander.
You see his ERA there, not very good, but as Kenny said, he's got very good stuff. There's a few guys coming out of this bullpen that have good stuff. It's a matter of making his pitches.
And the first pitch to Melky Cabrera is in there for a call strike. We showed you that Melky was 2 for 3 with a run scored. Melky's average has jumped up 5 points today. He's hitting .277. Bouncing ball towards the right side. Overbay, the first baseman, will flip the lead covering, and it's 1 up and 1 down. Brandon League was born in Sacramento, California, but now makes his home in Honolulu, Hawaii. It's a nice place to spend the off season.
He's got the same glasses as Gustavo Chachin, who's on the DL, starting pitcher for the Blue Jays.
He too is going out on a rehab session in a couple of days. Here's Nick Green. Green is 2 for 3 with a double, driven in a run, scored a run, takes a pitch for a call strike. Compare glasses here. A little more tint on the Chachin's glasses.
Yeah, those are a little cooler.
Pitch to Green is outside.
League in the minor leagues, he pitches with the sleeves no matter the temperature, because he's got the tattoos that go down, and he wasn't using sleeves, and the opposing managers were saying it's deceiving the hitter. You can't see the ball as well. Sometimes you'll see pitchers with little wristbands that they take them, tell the pitcher to take it off.
Count 1-2.
That fastball was 96 with movement. And the way he delivers the ball, kind of three-quarters slinging action, that actually gets the movement on the ball.
See his split finger grip. Guys that use that as the out pitch, they'll hold the grip before they throw it.
Breaking ball, strike 3. Green down looking. 2 away.
See his delivery here. What I mean by the grip, they'll hold it because it's hard to get to a split. That was a slider. They'll hold the split grip and then change it to either their slider or fastball. But if there's guys who use a lot of split fingers, it's hard to get to that grip and put it in your glove without showing the hitter.
That slingshot delivery that you talk of, is that dangerous? You always hear scouts say, well, that's an arm injury waiting to happen.
Yes, but you know, there's plenty of guys that have pitched a long time with unorthodox deliveries that you just look and wince as you throw it. That's not so bad. I think the biggest problem where arm injury comes in is if a guy drops too low, elbow lower than shoulder, it's generally going to be elbow soreness and elbow injury. If a guy throws way across his body, there's a lot of strain on the shoulder because it's difficult to get your arm through having your body being way across.
So you want your elbow about even with your shoulder when you deliver the pitch.
Yes.
And if it dips, then it's going to be problematic for the elbow.
You will put more strain on your elbow if it's lower than your shoulder.
Did anybody ever change your delivery?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gil Patterson. Reinvented after my second arm injury because I was not good when I first came up with the Yankees. Good stuff, but the way I was throwing, they just left me alone. And then after 2 surgeries, Gil Patterson, who was my first pitching coach with the Yankees, broke me down like you would teach a 6-year-old or little leaguer. And really, I credit him with turning my career around.
How comfortable was it? Uncomfortable was it at first?
2-2. Strike 3. We will find out how uncomfortable it was in the bottom of the inning. Yankees were uncomfortable here in the top of the inning as League retires them 1, 2, 3 with 2 strikeouts. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 13-5 Jays. Well, it is time for the Blue Jays in-game box score, sponsored by your Tri-State Lincoln and Mercury dealer. Blue Jays have 15 hits against the Yankees. Reed Johnson, 4 ribbies. Vernon Wells, 2 home runs and 4 ribbies. Troy Gloss, a home run. Greg Zahn, 3 walks and a run scored. He's the only one without a hit, but been on base 3 times. Eric Hinsky, a home run. Aaron Hill, 2 for 3, and light-hitting John McDonald, 3 for 4. A lot of offense there.
The Yankees have made numerous changes as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. A revamped infield.
And a new pitcher as well, Ron Vallone, the Yankees' 4th pitcher. Lyle Overbay fouls it back. There's a new first baseman for the Yankees, and first we'll take a look at Ron Vallone's numbers, and they're excellent. He's done a good job this year. Popped up foul and out of play. Aaron Guile is at first. The new second baseman is Miguel Cairo. Nick Green moves from second to short. And Andy Phillips is the new third baseman. There's a new catcher as well, and that is Kelly Stinnett. Now, if you are keeping score at home, Cairo replaces Jeter in the lineup, and Guile replaces Giambi. So if you're slotting them in the lineup, and Phillips goes into A-Rod's spot. Overbay swings and misses. 1 away. So Giambi picked up a couple of hits, and another rough day offensively for Alex Rodriguez. 0 for 4. Here's Zahn. Anyway, Al, how difficult was it to be broken down like that?
It wasn't, because I realized I was going down a road that I would just continue to keep getting injured and surgery. So it was either that or retire or quit or be told that I'm going home. So I was at a point where I realized I had to make a radical change or I wouldn't be pitching anymore.
Now, when did this happen? In the minors?
1991. I had a few years of big league time.
That was after your trade to the Blue Jays, which came in '89. Now, Gil Patterson, for those that don't know, is in the Yankee system again, and he is the pitching coach down in Tampa, and he's an outstanding pitching instructor. And I know just from talking to Al over the years, he swears by him.
Even though he wasn't my pitching coach, he was with different organizations, I'd call him and confide in him, and he was helping me from afar.
When Al Leiter started Game 7 of the World Series for the Marlins in 1997 against Jarrett Wright and the Indians, he only took 2 phone calls the night before, one from Dave Righetti and one from Gil Patterson. And the count 3-1. Did they give you any advice, or was it just calm down and, you know, do what you have to do?
It was good. I had a lot of phone calls, and I had my wife screen it because I knew everybody was supportive, but I didn't want to be filled with any additional information, if you will.
Overload.
Overload. So, and that was the last thing I needed.
Greg Zahn walks for the 4th time today.
No contact day. 4 walks and a strikeout.
Speaking of that '97 season, Zahn was on that team, and he was the backup catcher, and he's really matured as he's gotten older. He gives tough at bats. You'll see deep count at bats. He fouls off a lot of pitches like Jeter and Damon.
Jason Phillips is pinch hitting for Eric Hinsky. As the Blue Jays are carrying 3 catchers: Molina, Phillips, and Zahn. Rip foul.
Gonna have to get a new piece of lumber. But Bat Boy was right on the money.
Jason Phillips, Mets farmhand, and John Gibbons, the manager who was managing Phillips a couple years while in Norfolk AAA with the Mets AAA affiliate. And Jason Phillips is here because of the relationship he has with Gibbons.
Popped up in the infield. Nick Green calls everybody off, and they're 2 away. Along with Al Leiter and Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball here on the Yes Network. And the Blue Jays all over the Yankees 13-5. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Blue Jays have crushed 5 home runs. Here's Aaron Hill. Foul back.
This has been one of the most amazing turnarounds during the course of the season. We talked about the first time we came in here, Hill was hitting under 200, and he was struggling big time. He was out taking early batting practice. This is a good young hitter. I mean, he's got a quick bat. And I think a lot of it might have been the fact that he was switching around positions all the time. He didn't feel like, you know, when you feel comfortable. There's Mickey Brantley, the hitting coach. He's talking with Troy Gloss right now. And notice how the hitting coach is sitting between the number 3 and 4 hitters in the lineup. Well, anyway, he got Hill going. And now he's a solid contributor down at the bottom of the order when you got a 300 hitter batting 8th.
Well, Hill was hitting 197 on May 17th.
May 17th.
May 17th. And coming into this game, from that point on, he's hit 374. And with his 2 hits today, he has 29 hits in the month of July. The 1-2. Popped up. It'll be another scoreless inning for Ron Vallone. Miguel Cairo puts it away for the final out of the 8th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the 9th inning. Last lick's coming up for the Yankees. Now to do it against Scott Downs. They're down 13-5. Please keep it here after the last out for the Nissan postgame with Bob Lorenz and Kimberly Jones, featuring detailed analysis of today's game, interviews with players, plus scores and highlights from around baseball. The Nissan postgame, it immediately follows the game, and it's only on Yes. Crowd of 42,337 here at Rogers Center. 13-5, the Blue Jays lead the Yankees, and we are in the top of the 9th in the top of the Yankee order against another left-hander, Scott Downs. Fourth pitcher used by John Gibbons. And there's a strike. Sean Markham started, went 5 innings, and is in line to pick up his first big league victory. Broken bat, line drive over the leaping try of Overbay and into right field. So a base hit for Johnny Damon, his second of the day.
Looked like a breaking ball down and away, and Johnny just got enough of it off the end of the bat and over the head of Overbay and into right field. And left-handers come in trying to work the left-handed hitters over with the breaking ball, and Damon, he keeps his weight back well and just kind of flicks the bat at the ball.
Here's Cairo's first at bat. The pitch is inside. Derek Jeter, while he was in there, 2 for 3 with a sac bunt. And the count 2-0 from Scott Downs. Well, the Blue Jays wanted to make a statement in this series because they have been treading water all year. They spent a lot of money during the offseason to improve themselves, but they were right there in third place where they always seem to be. And with the Yankees coming in for 4 games, they wanted to take this series. They didn't want to split because what good would that have done them? And they are on the verge right now of taking 3 out of 4, which means that they gained 2 games on the Yankees. Grounded foul.
And this team is not going anywhere.
And also gaining in the wild card. The White Sox have not been playing all that well of late.
And Toronto, with a win today, would go 12 games over 500. Tap back to Downs. He gets the out at second. That's all they get. Surprised he even tried for the out at second. But he gets the force, and Cairo replaces Damon at first.
You're right, Michael. Sometimes in these situations you should go for the easiest out, and the easiest out certainly would have been at first base, but the left-hander just turned and wheeled and threw the second, got the force on Johnny Damon. There's the ground ball, and he's going to make it a little bit more difficult. He's thinking double play. I want to get 2 outs.
Here's Aaron Guile, his first at bat. And the count 0-1. You look at Downs, he kind of looks like the actor Lou Diamond Phillips. Could not hold up Guile, and the count 0-2. The 0-2. Guile down on strikes. Yankees down to their final out.
I worked over Aaron Guile, and as I mentioned, lefties try and go at lefties. They get ahead of you and then go for the breaking ball, and it's Al Leiter will tell you the same thing.
Get ahead and expand whatever your out pitch is, and like you're saying, Kenny, left-handers, some sort of sweeping breaking ball going away from the left-handed batter is their strikeout pitch and out pitch.
Andy Phillips fouls it back. Andy batting in the cleanup spot. Batting for the first time. Alex Rodriguez grounded to short, struck out. Got robbed of an extra base hit. Nice play by Catalanato, and then a ground ball to short. So Alex in this series 2 for 16. Tough weekend in Toronto for Joe Torre. One hard-fought win yesterday and 3 tough losses. The Blue Jays will head to Seattle after this game for a West Coast swing. The Yankees head to Texas. Served out toward Overbay. He's going to take it himself, and the Blue Jays win the game 13-5. Vernon Wells with 2 home runs. The Blue Jays with 5 home runs. John Gibbons' team picks up 2 games on the Yankees over these 4 days. Reed Johnson drives in 4, and the Yankees head into the clubhouse. They'll pack, they'll get on a plane, and they'll head to Arlington, Texas, start a 3-game set against the offensively potent Rangers tomorrow night. 13-15-0 for the Jays and 5-13-0 for the Yankees. And the story of the game, Yankees simply did not get the pitching. Ponson started, ineffective. Chris Wilson relieved, ineffective. Sean Chacon relieved, ineffective. The only Yankee pitcher that didn't give up a run, Ron Ballone. We break it down and give out the awards on the postgame show after this.